Welcome back to the show. Today I want to talk about the first, or one of the first, SLR cameras ever. This camera, one of the first SLRs, like I mentioned, ever, was invented, designed by Johan Steenbergen, a Dutch guy, so makes me very proud for being Dutch. The main goal Johan had was to make a camera that could be used for medical research, so for usage on microscopes. With a box camera, it's not easy to focus, and it's not easy to focus with a twin lens as well. As you can see, it has a lens. You cannot not turn it, and to take a picture you look through the viewfinder, and well, it's on top of the camera, and you're not actually looking through the lens. Twin lens camera, and of course you can focus this camera by turning this knob, and this compartment will move. Very nice. But what you're seeing through the viewfinder is captured by this lens, not by this lens, and this lens is actually taking a photo. So there was a problem there for using it on a microscope. So Johan thought of a single lens reflex. And what's the reflex thing in it? Well, it's the mirror. Light comes in, hits the mirror, light goes up, goes into the prism, and then it's turned around. Left becomes left again, and right becomes right again, and you can see through the viewfinder and actually see what picture you are taking. Well, I think it's very nice. Let's take a closer look at the dials. First of all, you have to handle this camera like it is Russian camera, and that means before you even turn on your dial for the shutter speed, make sure your shutter is cocked. If it's not, you're going to have problems with the shutter curtain. It will get stuck, and you have to rewind it manually. I've been there. You don't want to be there. It's yeah, well, a real pain in the. Yes. Okay. So make sure the shutter is cocked. It was cocked already. Then you can pull this and turn it to select another shutter speed. And I'm not sure, but now I am. This one goes up to a shutter speed of 1/1000th of a second, and it has, let me see, it goes down to 1/25th, I see here, yes, and everything below that, that is 2 seconds up to 12 seconds is done by this knob here, and there's a self timer in there as well. Winding the camera like that, and there is a counter here, and you can reset it by turning that wheel. Oh, it's, yeah, I don't touch it. It's not usable. This is a system camera. That means most parts of this camera can be removed and replaced with other parts. For instance, the lens, and well, you might say big deal. Well, it was not that common. As you can see, I've taken the shutter button as well, and in fact, let me try to show you. the shutter button closes the aperture. You see, there I go to f22. By the way, this is a Jena 50mm 2.8, if I'm correct. Yes. All the lenses have these buttons when there is aperture ring in the lens. The camera itself has a shutter button as well, a shutter release button I should say. That's put there. And yeah, what happens here, you focus, you compose your picture, choose the right aperture, and as soon as you press this button you will first close the aperture and then release the shutter and take the picture. First we have here 3 sync contacts, the M, F and X. I did use the M and F and try to make pictures with the strobe. Those pictures were blank, meaning there was no light on them, and the X contact worked just fine. Put the lens back on because we have something else to show, and that is the viewfinder. I bought this camera on eBay, on the Dutch eBay that is, and the former owner sent me these boxes as well, and to be honest, I didn't know I was getting them. I was paying for the camera and I was expecting a camera the way you just saw it, and when it was delivered at my house, this was in the box as well. And well, I was like a kid in a candy store. It amazed me. So let me take this one first because that's what I wanted to show you. It's all original stuff. This is the waist level viewfinder, and yes, there's a magnifying glass as well. Let me put this aside. By pressing this little button here, you release the viewfinder, you can take it off, and you put the other one in there. So now you got your waist level viewfinder. And I do like waist level viewfinders, and I think it's usable. Some people say you can take great street pictures with waist level viewfinders, and yes, you're right, but yeah, well, let's put them together for comparison. I mean, that's a waist level viewfinder, and this is just too small. It's for me as a street photographer, it's yeah, not usable. This was delivered as well, and to be honest, I had to search for some manuals on the internet to find out what this was about. Well, I could have figured it out if I had taken a look at this one. As you can see, these are tube extensors, or standing tubes, or how do you call them? But whatever, these can be put between the lens and the camera. just to illustrate what is happening here. Well, like I mentioned a few minutes ago, we have the aperture button here, and that button pushes to the release button as well, shutter release button as well. But how are you going to do that? And yeah, well, you could use two hands and try to sync them all up, or close the aperture first and then hit the shutter button. I think it would work. But wouldn't it be easy if you could put a stick right there towards the camera? Well, to be honest, I would like to show it to you, but somehow I just cannot get it right at the moment. Maybe I should give it a little try. Yeah, there's the red dot. Okay. And then I figure this should be put there, but we first have to make sure that this stick is put in place, and then we would have something like that. Or wait, we have something like that as well. What the heck? Yeah, well, nice idea and bad executed, and this is not fitting right as well. Well, looks nice, not working yet. Okay, so the extension tubes, these rods for making it possible to release the shutter and have the aperture closed in time. And then both viewfinders have these Fresnel lenses, and this came in as well, and I hope you can see, but there we have this focusing ring in the middle. One last thing I want to mention. Take-up spool on the left. The winder is on the left, that's because. Take-up spool is removable as well, and that would be a very good idea, because we have a knife in here as well. What? Yes, knife! Turn this one, and then you have this knife to slice your film. Imagine you have your canister with unused film here, goes to here, to the take-up spool. You're doing research, or you're taking pictures on the street, or you're a photojournalist, you're making pictures of whatever happens in front of you, and you want these pictures developed immediately and printed immediately so they can be used in a newspaper or whatever. Turn the knife, pull it, close it, wind the rest of the film on the take-up spool, put your camera in a dark room or in a dark bag, open it, take out your spool with the images on them, and take it to the developer, or develop them yourself. And in the meantime, take another take-up spool, put it in your camera, take the rest of the film, put it in, close your camera, and you're ready to go. So that's it. Thank you for watching. If you have any questions or remarks, leave them below in the comments. And if you want more information on the Exakta, visit my website. Put some links there to more information as well. Please like and subscribe, and I hope to see you next time. Bye.